Welcome to Path to Passion, where we hear inspiring stories and messages from passionate people, helping you build a life you're passionate about. I'm your host, Yael Lanciano, and today's guest is a former restaurateur turned crypto consultant helping people build legacies. Eric Jetson, thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
Thanks so much for having me. I am super good. How are you?
Good, good. So it's funny, Eric and I actually go way back. We used to work in the restaurants together, and we recently reconnected, and he's built this whole new life for himself that he is extremely passionate about. And Eric, can you tell us about it? What's going on? What's happening in your
Yeah,
life right now?
yeah, absolutely. So, in 2021, I started my own consulting business, and it was kind of open ended because, as you mentioned, I got a background in restaurants.
Hmm.
So, I just wanted to help people, whether it be start a restaurant or train or implement systems or whatever. We just had the great fortune of working for a great restaurant group, very progressive, innovative. So, I just wanted to help others, because now I'm living in Las Vegas, the hospitality capital of the world. But if you have ventured outside of the Strip, you're not finding much of hospitality. So needless to say, I don't go out much. I like to cook, but anyways, I dove into crypto a couple years back
Okay.
because yeah, I had a few friends in college back at the University of Arizona, Bear Down. Um, that was trading some Bitcoin. And at the time, I didn't really have any extra funds to buy any or anything like
Hmm.
that. So I was working my way up, but long story short, I had some knowledge about it and I wanted to revisit it. And good thing I did right before COVID hit. I bought a little Bitcoin
Hmm.
right around COVID time, and that kind of sparked my interest because
Okay.
the technology of it is pretty cool. It's fascinating.
Hmm.
We grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, and we were like products of the technological evolution.
Hmm.
So I mean the amount of versions of headphones I've owned, or whatever. So we have all these tools, and you can use this tool for a lot of different things. You can do bad things on there, and then you can do good things on there. And one of those good
Hmm.
things is making money and managing your money. So that
Hmm.
was fascinating to me, and that got me into researching. I'm a communication major at the U of A, so researching
Hmm.
is kind of in my DNA, because there's so much information out there. We're in the
Hmm.
information age, and I think it's critical that we're critical consumers of that information. And you can Google something and you're like, okay, where do I even start? This says this says this. But that's what I wanted to do, is educate people and help them
Hmm.
take control of their life, gain back their freedom, and ultimately help restaurant people get out of the restaurant business too, because it
Yeah.
has turned my life around 100%. And I think if you do implement a few systems, just like operating a restaurant, you can operate your life in a way better way. So that's what I've been up
Yeah.
to.
Awesome. Okay, so when you made that first investment, what was your intention? Like, and was that your first investment in anything ever? And I mean, yeah, that's the question.
That's a great question. Okay. Yes, it was my first investment. I didn't really know much about it. I kind of had an understanding, like a Robert Kiyosaki understanding of like
Uh-huh.
the four quadrants. So
Yeah.
there's like, employee, business owner,
Mm-hmm.
small business owner, and investor. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about investing too much because I was, told, or I was taught only 2% of investors can actually live off their dividends. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, gosh, you need to invest a whole bunch just to, like, pay your bills with your dividends. So I'm not going to put my focus there. I need to build a business,
Mm-hmm.
but the business, needs to be diversified, and I need to run my life like a business. So I need to diversify my own investments. And investments are not just financial, they're time too. We
Mm-hmm.
invest on a constant basis. But long story short, I bought some Bitcoin, and after reaching out to my buddy from college, I learned a little bit about an altcoin. So something that's alternative, another cryptocurrency that is not Bitcoin. And there's gosh 15, 17,000 cryptocurrencies right there, right now. So there's so much, and we'll dive into that later. But what I did is I bought a little bit of Bitcoin and I bought a little bit of QNT. It's
Mm-hmm.
quant. And most people have not heard of it,
Yeah, I
but
haven't heard of it.
if you a lot of people will go look it up now, and you'll see over the last couple of years, yeah, it rose in price substantially. So I was able to. It was scary at first, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, it's like, okay, I'm going to start my investment career or journey with a very speculative asset class. I'm like, okay, like I'm maybe biting off more than I could chew. So then, I'm working at the restaurant still at the time. I'm using a little bit of my extra money to buy some stocks, because I was like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
need to diversify and safe in my
Yeah.
bag here.
And
So
you
I
were
bought,
managing all of that on your own. You were doing all your own research and everything.
yes,
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of
yep.
work.
It was at first, yeah, and I credit YouTube University. I swear. I mean,
It's a
gosh,
good
you
university.
you can learn so much and much more, inexpensive compared to that college degree I
Mm-hmm.
have.
Mm-hmm.
I even pay for the YouTube Premium. That's that's
Whoa.
that's how much I invest in myself, because time is my most valuable asset, and I can't be
Mm-hmm.
clicking skip ad every 5-10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a diversified strategy and portfolio is important, but I went over to Robinhood, and
Okay.
that is something that I think has reshaped the landscape of investors and
Mm-hmm.
has lowered the barrier to entry for a lot of people. And I see it in just my I'm now 30. I'm in my 30s, so I see it in my age bracket, and then the
Mm-hmm.
younger kids as well.
Mm-hmm.
And um, people, they it's fascinating. Hey, you want a piece of the pie? You want a piece of Apple? You want a piece of Tesla? And because people look up to people like Elon Musk and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, it's like, all right, yeah, what are they doing? I want a piece of the pie. So yeah, I was just using Robinhood, a little bit of Coinbase,
Mm-hmm.
and Binance US, and to this day I still use Binance US, and I actually recommend that platform. It's
Mm-hmm.
super user friendly, easy to onboard money. There's a lot of different assets you can purchase, but the coolest part is you can implement systems
Mm-hmm.
where you can set up automatic buys. You can get alerts so that you don't have to be tied to that phone. I know a lot of people don't have the time to look at this stuff or want to, but we got lives,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. Okay. I wanted to pause on this for a minute and go back to tell me a little bit about your life before crypto. So I know you were in the restaurants, but before that, I know you were really into baseball. What were your dreams growing up and how did that change and evolve?
Yeah, great question. Born in Seattle, only lived there for a couple of years. Middle of five kids. We moved to Scottsdale in '94,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad is a big baseball fan, and
Okay.
his dad was a big baseball fan. So they grew up in like the Bay Area. They were big Giants fans growing
Mm-hmm.
up, and then they had moved to Washington, so my family was Mariner fans. And then spring training started, I believe, in like '93 or '94 in Arizona and in Peoria, one of the suburbs of Phoenix. They have the kickoff every year. It's the Mariners play
Mm-hmm.
the Padres, and my dad went to the very first year, the inaugural season, and he was like, "Whoa, this is awesome! Like this is like my paradise. I need to move here." So he moved. We had my mom and four kids at the time to Arizona, and then we had my little brother. So there were five of us, and yeah, I grew up playing baseball. Gosh, as far as I can remember, and it definitely was my dream. I thought I was going to be a professional baseball
Mm-hmm.
player. And I had an older brother who had 6 years on me. So I was very competitive and
Ah, okay.
yeah, because I played up to a higher level. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's awesome. Like whatever sport it is, yeah, go challenge yourself. Like, go play with the older kids and stuff like that. So, yeah, played baseball all up until high school. And, there were five of us, and my parents had gotten divorced, and we didn't have a whole lot of excess. Like we had a great life, but it was tough because I went to school with a lot of rich kids, and I played
Mm-hmm.
sports with a lot of the more rich kids that just had more options. They had more freedom. They had
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
options, and like not to knock that because obviously that's shaped my vision for my family, but to have
Mm-hmm.
that freedom and yeah, the option to invest in the tools that you need, or invest in playing travel or club ball or whatever it is, like
Mm-hmm.
more options. And that's all money is to me. It just gives me options. It's a vibration and a frequency. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had great education. I went to Catholic school. I went to a college prep high school, and it was all good, and I was very challenged, but it was a lot of structure, and structure is good, but too much can be too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Too much can make you
And
feel trapped,
too much can be
limiting, not allowing you to express yourself and be creative. And
yeah, and that's another thing. we grew up in a very interesting time where like it
Uh-huh.
was, I believe we're in like a societal revolution, almost like
Yeah.
the 60s again, where
Yeah.
what used to work doesn't necessarily work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that traditional mindset, that, indoctrination system, as you will, it's just outdated and needs to be updated, with, I always say like, oh, wish they taught me that in school, or, like
Yeah. Yeah.
the life skills.
Yeah.
So like, gosh, yeah, what I've learned in the last 10 years is like, man, we could, yeah, make a life university literally, and teach
Yeah.
everybody. So yeah, baseball didn't end up working out.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of crappy because my last year, I moved high school. So yeah, like going into my senior year, I started a brand new school, and
Uh-huh.
it was just across town. I didn't move states or anything, so it wasn't bad. I could still hang out with my old, friends, but uh, yeah, as you can imagine, yeah, senior year, new school, it's just an interesting dynamic. So, and it was a public school after going to Catholic school,
Oh,
so
yeah.
so I had to dumb it down a little bit. I had to, put some holes in my jeans and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So, and at that point, baseball shifted for me. I
Mm-hmm.
played a little bit at that new school, but I got really into like fitness and bodybuilding and things like that at that time. I was working out a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I was focused on what was next. I've always been, I guess, a visionary. I'm always focused on what's next, and that's
Mm-hmm.
maybe my greatest strength, but also my greatest weakness, because I sometimes forget to live right here, right now. I'm
Yeah.
always, what's tomorrow? What's
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my own personal journey of where I'm at now. But back then it wasn't like that. So I'm going, hustling, trying to get my freedom. And
And
because
what
of
does
that,
freedom mean to you?
freedom to me, that's a good question, because the definition is different for everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
my definition of freedom is having the options to do what I want, because what everyone wants to do is differently. I might just want to sit here and listen to music for 10 minutes, or sit here and
Yeah.
be silent,
Yeah.
or sit here and do sit-ups. I don't, everyone wants to do different things. So I want the ability and the option to do what I want when I want.
Mm-hmm.
And because, yeah, we don't, gosh, people are not valuing their time anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
we let our time slip away, and when we do have free time, we're almost taught to waste it or spend it or
Mm-hmm.
kill it. How can I kill time? It's like, oh gosh, I hate that phrase.
You're
But
like, kill
also, yeah, I don't want to kill time. No, yeah, please, I want to try to make more if I can.
it.
But yeah, I guess the peace of mind as well, that's super important for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I almost kind of grew up with this lack mentality, a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
a victim mentality.
Uh-huh.
And gosh, yeah, you're always thinking about money, and trying to, yeah, pay the bills. Like, oh, on the first, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you're like, that all that money went out, and now I'm thinking about
Mm-hmm.
what I need to make just to live another month, how to make
Right.
it, like how to get by. And gosh, with the way the economy is, things are getting more expensive, but we didn't get raises necessarily. So how do we combat all that?
Yeah.
And how do we not allow that to bombard us with added
Mm-hmm.
stress, all this environmental stress? So that
Yeah.
is what freedom is to me, is peace of mind and the options to do what I want when I want.
Mm-hmm. Love it. So, okay, so you were working out a lot and you knew that
Mm,
you wanted freedom. And so
mm,
you're just looking like,
mm.
okay, what's next? How am I going to do this? How am
Yes.
I going to buy myself freedom?
And I knew, and this is where society is changing right now. I knew that college was my best bet. I knew that getting that degree was my best chance at getting a seat at the next table,
Mm.
if that makes sense, at the
It does,
societal
but I'm
table.
wondering, yeah, I'm wondering like because obviously you were conditioned to get to that spot, because for example, I never thought that college was the way to freedom, and I define
Totally.
freedom very similarly to how you do, but I think that's also because my parents are not, they don't have college education, and my dad is an entrepreneur that's, self-made and kind of did it. So it's just interesting how, you naturally were like, oh, this is how I do it, you
Yep.
know?
Because you're absolutely right. I was a product of my environment. And gosh, I was going
Mm-hmm.
to a great high school where all they were talking about was, it was a college preparatory school. So
Yeah.
you're meeting with your counselors, like figuring out all this stuff to get to, just to get an interview, or, get
Mm-hmm.
to do the application. And like, um, and I didn't have as many resources. For me, college was my best bet. And
Yep.
my only options were college in Arizona. It was very limited, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
in state. That's where you can go. And And yeah, like I did not like school necessarily. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't passionate about it, but I was like, okay, I valued wisdom and knowledge. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can take the best and leave the rest. I can take
Oh,
what
I like
I
that.
can,
I like
yeah,
that
I can
phrase.
take what I need from it. And the networking thing was super important because I just learned that one thing leads to another. It's like a big puzzle, or it's like 6 degrees of separation. Like
Mhm,
yeah, you
mhm.
talk to one person, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah,
Mhm.
you know this. It's so wild, but I believe in that stuff. So I was like, I need
Yeah.
to get to college because that will connect me with somebody that will get me to the next thing.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And it comes down to faith. You got to have faith in something,
Mhm.
whether it's a higher power or yourself. It's because I got this thing on my vision board. It says, faith is the bridge between where I am and the place God is taking me.
I like that.
So yeah, you don't know where you're going, but
Mhm.
you do the best you can to envision where you want to be. And some people didn't like their upbringing, some people loved it, but I think everybody wants to provide an equal environment for their future family, if not better. I think every
Yeah.
generation strives to be better for the most part.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was just my personal dynamic. Yeah, I was bummed that baseball didn't work out. So that was a whole nother thing. I was like,
Why
okay,
didn't yeah, what happened there? Why didn't it
yeah,
work out?
well, I wasn't good enough, to yeah,
Okay.
I was good. I was, naturally skilled, but
Yeah.
to get to that level, I was like, that's going to be a lot of work. And I knew, I was like, okay, playing in the minor leagues, yeah, you don't make a lot of money. It is a lot of
Mhm.
work. It's a grind for sure. And I just chose a different grind. I wanted to do more than one thing, I guess, at a time. And with baseball, I would have to dive all in, and it would be a big risk. But I was like, okay, I'm going to get the education first. That was the focus, because athletics can tend to take the focus off of the education.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to take, get as much as I can from this education, because I'm going to be paying for it for the next 10 years. And
So you paid for your own college. Okay.
yes, yep. And that's, gosh, a whole thing I'll educate people on later is like,
Mhm.
that was a learning lesson, just like how you can apply for scholarships and grants and that whole process. Like, there's a lot of colleges that you might not
Yeah.
think you can get in, but they have so much money, on their balance sheet, in their trust, that they have to spend, that they're giving it out in scholarships and stuff. So like, a
Mm.
lot of it is just just showing up and just trying,
Yeah.
putting forth a little bit of effort. And but yeah, so I knew, I was like, okay, I'm not going to make it in baseball. And at the time, I guess at 18, I had 2 years of restaurant experience under my belt, and I was really good at that. My dad worked in restaurants, so it,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I get it.
Yeah.
He is an entertainer. His love language is acts of service. So
Mhm.
he loves cooking. He loves just entertaining, and like, I learned everything I know from him. And I, yeah, appreciate service and wine so much. I'm definitely a service snob. Like, I can't go out to eat anymore, because if I'm paying $60 for this steak, it's like, okay, I'm paying for the beef, yes, but I'm paying for the service as well.
Totally.
I want that chilled fork, with my salad, and I want
Mhm.
my napkin folded, maybe
Houston's. That's where it's at.
definitely. Definitely. So I was like, all right, I will use this to my advantage. I will continue to work in the restaurant business, make money, network, but also get the education,
Mhm.
and we'll see where that's at. And when I went down to U of A, yeah, I started working for Fox shortly after. So it was in my second semester
Mhm.
of college that I started working for Fox. And yeah, started at Blanco and worked my way up. And because I was loving, I was digging the company. I was like, wow, like, this is really cool. Like, as
Mhm. Mhm.
for various reasons. And uh, I met Amber, and she became, kind of a mentor. I was just like so enamored by her,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
yeah, and I was like, wow, like, I want to be her. Like,
Mhm.
I want to
Mhm.
do that. I want to walk in the restaurant and people to start cleaning. And that drove me, yeah, for the next couple of years. So I, yeah, worked up the rest my way through the restaurants. I got my degree, and I was in a fraternity. So I was like, I'm not going to do baseball. So I
Mhm.
joined a fraternity, and so I used all three of those kind of to, grow the network
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that. And And I'm so grateful for all of it. It was all a time investment. It was all a money investment.
Mhm.
The fraternity I ended up getting into, because there's a whole rushing process. Like it's more complicated than you would think.
Yeah,
But so I got into the one I wanted to get into, and it was the most expensive one, of course.
of
And
course.
and I was just like, you know what? It's not like, don't look at the price tag. It's like, hey, if you want that, it's an investment in yourself. So, and
Mhm.
there were a lot of quality people that went to my high school, went to that same college prep school, that were members.
Mhm.
So that's why I wanted to be a part of that, because I knew
Okay,
I
okay.
was like, those are high caliber individuals. And I was like,
Mhm.
they're probably here for more than just keg stands and flip cup.
Yeah.
So, uh,
So
so
quick
that drew,
question,
yeah,
I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty high degree of wisdom at this age, and making decisions that even though you were scared, you knew that you had to invest in yourself and surround yourself with like-minded, high quality people. So where did you get that knowledge? Did you have a mentor? Did you read a lot? Or is this just all lessons that you learned along the way?
that's a super great question, and I'll have to give credit to my dad. Yeah,
Oh, lucky you.
I know, yeah, and I don't know where. It's funny because, yeah, now I know, I'm a little bit more like him, but his brain is a sponge, and he's got a bunch of random information up
Mhm.
there, but like a lot of it's useful, and he was able to retain things through life that he heard from his dad or whatever through the years, and like those lessons learned in the 50s, 60s, 70s are some of the
Mhm.
some of the most valuable lessons. Some of those quotes we still, recite today.
Mhm.
So just growing up, he had these sayings that just stuck with me, and like they
Yeah,
resonated, and I'm like,
totally.
so now I had this bank of like
Yeah.
random sayings, and now I have a note, just like on my phone of, I'll hear a phrase or a catchy thing, and I'll just jot it down,
Yeah.
because they're almost like analogies or little things that I can like relate to, or almost I can, because I don't elaborate very well sometimes, like on my thoughts. So if I could just give someone a quick analogy or a short
Mhm.
little saying, they're
Mhm.
like, oh, like take the best, leave the
Yeah,
rest,
I was
like
gonna say that one stuck. I like that
cool.
one.
Yeah. So like little dumb stuff like that. It just has really helped
It's not
me.
dumb.
Totally. So yeah, that wisdom. I just chose to, I guess, uh, transact that wisdom, and
Uh-huh.
my dad is like, he shared it, but now I felt like I needed to put it into action.
Right. Integrated into your life
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. So with all that, the restaurant business, the college degree, the fraternity, it all led me to a great spot, where I was able to have a job offer right after college. I graduated, and 2 weeks later, I moved to California, and got to open a North,
Nice.
and yeah, the first one out there, and like it was cool because it was like it was just a new chapter, yeah, for the
Mhm.
company, and it was super exciting. There's so much energy, and I gained so much confidence as a leader, and just grew. I grew as a businessman, as a I was like in my young 20s. So I was like, okay, I got
Mhm.
this great opportunity. Like there's some pressure, there's some stress because I don't want to mess it up. Like, and this could really lead me to somewhere awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, gosh, there. So I took over as GM like 18 months after we opened, and did 18 months as GM. And
Mhm.
in that time, yeah, like I was just at a point where like, hey, I needed a change,
Yeah, yeah.
and the company was evolving as well. There's a big acquisition that happened, so there's even more pressure on me. And I was just, yeah, like 25 or 26, and I got into a new relationship, and yeah, gosh, so that that evolved to where I am now. So my wife
Uh-huh.
Crystal, yeah, she was a colleague of mine in California, and then she kind of looked up to me as a mentor, and
Mm.
saw how much I enjoyed managing, and growing with that, with
Mhm.
Fox. So she's like, oh, that looks cool. Like I can do that. And she's, super good at her, at the restaurants
Mhm.
as well. And she moved out here in like 2017. We did long distance for like a year, it was 10 months.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was enough time for me to make up my mind that I ultimately would like to marry a woman instead of a restaurant. And
Mm.
so I moved out to California. I had some faith. I didn't know what was on the other
You
side. I
mean
did.
Vegas, right?
Oh yeah. I moved to
Yeah,
Vegas. I moved to Vegas from
yeah.
California. And gosh, I did not know what was going to happen, but I knew that I wanted to be with Crystal.
Mhm.
And so I kind of just explored some different options in hospitality and stuff, and put my feelers out there. And I hadn't interviewed, for another company in a long time. And it was nice to kind of just like feel fresh and like be on your
Mm-hmm.
game and, like
Yeah.
update the resume. So
Yeah.
that was a good experience. And yeah, there's not much out here, with Fox and stuff. And like there was a possibility of, going to work at the Culinary Dropout, which was at the
Uh-huh.
Hard Rock, which is no longer even there. So it's crazy how
Oh.
everything works out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did some time at Fleming's, and
Did
it's
time.
I did did some time at the JOB at Fleming's, and it was cool because I actually got connected. I'm all about the connections. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
trained this guy, the guy that opened North Miami. I trained
Mm-hmm.
him, who was an ex regional for Fleming's. So he put
Mm-hmm.
me in contact with the regional, for
Mm.
that one. And that GM at Fleming's Las Vegas went to ASU. So like we already had like this connection, and he was, well,
Yeah.
he knew Fox and stuff. So he knew like what I knew. He just knew like the caliber, of operation that Fox had. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
like, so he was essentially trying to get me to manage with him. And I was like, hey, um, I am not ready to jump back into management quite yet. I actually just learned this week that I am going to have a baby. So it was so wild. Like in that
So that
interviewing
was that a
process,
surprise that the baby?
yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. I mean, we no, no.
Medium surprise.
Medium surprise. I mean, yeah, there could have been more protection involved, but at the end of the day, it was like we assumed the risk. Hey, if it happens, it happens, and we're gonna
Got
make it
it.
work.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were like, if it happens. Okay. Yeah. 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 Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. We got jobs. I just moved here. Like, thank God I'm here now. Like it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
6 months ago when I didn't live here.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that was also kind of a sign from God that he was like reaffirming. He's like, yeah, like I did want you to move to Vegas, and I do want you to be with Crystal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is, your path.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, I learned and grew so much in that time. I didn't yeah, gosh, in that interview process, like when I moved here, I didn't have a job for a little bit, for a couple of months. So I struggled financially. But I got lucky because I cut my expenses big time moving from LA to Vegas.
Mm,
So
totally.
like, gosh, $1,500 just for a studio was nuts. And so it was an adjustment. It took me a whole year to really get back on my feet, to get some debt consolidated, and to implement a system where I'm like, and put myself on track. Like, okay,
Yeah.
here's, in 5 years, okay, I'll be in a way better situation. But
Mm-hmm.
it takes some consistency and discipline, and like I said, the systems. So gosh, here I am in Vegas, and still in the restaurant business, but becoming a father. So now my mindset is shifting
Mm-hmm.
big time. But I realized, I was like, okay, I need to be a server. I need to serve in a steakhouse, and limit my time.
Okay.
And
So making that choice was about freeing some of your time up. Okay.
big time, big time. Yep. Because Crystal she was restaurant manager at the time. So I was like, okay, how can we capitalize on
Mm-hmm.
this with the time, because we can't both manage. And I wanted to leave it open. I wanted some time because I don't know what a pregnancy looks like. I don't know. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
wanted to allot that time, and she got into a great situation. I mean, North was so gracious and amazing with her and her schedule. And she got to,
Mm-hmm.
open pretty consistently and stuff, and like get out in time for me to go to work. So it was a grind. Yeah. But we knew like, hey, we got 9 months to grind,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a different grind after that. Um,
Totally.
and for me, I've always been on a personal development journey. I've always loved, like, just, yeah, I guess, like, lineups. I've always
Yeah.
been, given like motivational lineups. I like energy and hype, and Tony Robbins, and like, hey, like, you can do it. Like, it's so
Yeah.
true. And so for me, like, becoming a father I was like 27-ish. So I was like, okay, like,
Uh-huh.
it's an appropriate age. But at the same time, I was really hoping to be a regional by 30. And like, that was
Mm.
my initial goal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And
So you're
but
still okay. So at this point, you're still focused on
mm,
growing within the restaurant industry. You're not really thinking about anything else. Is that right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Got it. Got it.
and it was like, okay, like, we're gonna have a kid, but I'm gonna, be a regional or whatever,
Right.
and
Right.
have enough freedom and finances for my wife to, yeah, for Crystal to stay home and take care of the kid. But yeah, I think when we had Dean, it changed. I was like, I don't want to go back to the restaurant. Yeah, like that's
Mhm.
like this is way better.
Yeah, yeah.
And not everyone agrees with that. I mean, I feel that way because my dad was such a strong dad. He yeah, raised,
Mm.
four and a half, five of us. My sister was the oldest, and she kind of, she was out of the house. She kind of lived with my mom at like in her teenage years. So I'd say my dad
Mhm.
raised the four boys for the most part, and did a great job. Gosh, like he owned his own business. So he worked from home, but yeah, he was like the only employee. So it was pretty cool. And he used his tools. I mean, he had a phone and he had a computer. So like you send an email, you make a couple phone calls, and he was making money that way. I remember going to the mailbox with him, and it's like, all right, yeah, we'd be collecting. It's either bills or checks, and it's like, man, hopefully we go to the mailbox and there's a bunch of checks in there. And like that was cool because for me, I was like, he used technology. He didn't have to leave home. He didn't have to go anywhere. Like he was he was paying for all this stuff. He made it happen. And like you don't realize that when you're a kid. You're just like, oh man, like my dad's door is closed, like he's working, whatever, like when is he going to be done? But
Mhm.
now I'm like, wow, like how you dropped us off at school, you picked us up, you were our baseball coach, you went to the field trips, like all this
Mm.
stuff. And so he really wanted to fulfill the role of mom and dad.
Mhm.
He taught me how to iron, and uh gosh, he's a great cleaner. I developed OCD
Mm.
from him, uh which I'm working on. but
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, long story short, like gosh, he loves his children so much, and like his purpose was to be a great dad. And it
Mission
wasn't that
accomplished.
mission accomplished. Yeah, he wasn't necessarily made to be the best businessman, or the best investor, or the best husband, which is uh it's all good, but for me to I gotta understand that, and yeah, take the best, leave the rest. And
Mhm.
now I can be the best for my kids. And that's where I started Jetson Legacy, because it's always been about legacy for me. My grandpa, yeah, I grew up on a farm, and like I have a different idea of what my legacy can
Mhm.
be, because nowadays anything really is possible. We have so many tools at our fingertips. It's just up to you to make that daily choice to use that tool for good or for bad.
Yeah. So, COVID, that is when things really changed for you, right? So,
Definitely.
talk to me more about that transition and what COVID,
Mm.
like how COVID changed your life.
For me, it was a blessing. It was a huge blessing. I guess we'll go back to December of 19. So, before it got cool. Um, I have a feeling, because we're in Las Vegas, an international, city, and I was working on Las Vegas Boulevard, literally right by the airport. We get a lot of international guests, so um, I got pretty sick. Yeah, I got pretty sick December of 19, with
Mhm.
the shortness of the breath and the body aches. It was like I was like, what the heck? This is foreign, but I shook it off as a flu. Hey, it's
Mm.
December. It's the
Mhm.
cold season. It's a flu. It's whatever. And that it is what it is. I shook it off. I'm pretty healthy. I exercise, I rest, and I try to listen to my body. And I take good vitamins, and I eat my spinach, all the good stuff you could do, but there's only so much you could do. That thing took us out. But it was right around that time, yeah, that I was just, yeah, I'm still like thinking about the future, because December of 19 is 6 months before we have Bean. So I'm like, okay, it just put things into perspective. I'm like thinking like, okay, like insurance, and writing a will, and definitely
Mhm.
investments, so all these different things. I'm like trying to set up the
Mm.
infrastructure for the family and for the finances and the legacy. So um it was right at that time where the I got serious about investing, and yes, just shake or like trimming stuff out. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I need to trim out, like eating bad. I really need to focus on my health. And the investments, yeah, got serious. So I dove into research because I had some time. I didn't have Dean yet, so I had some time. YouTube all the time. While you're working, it's really not all the
Mhm.
time. You just make trade ups, instead of listening to music on the way to work, you listen to YouTube, instead of,
Mm-hmm.
while you work out, so it's just like little, you don't need to really change your life drastically. But COVID was great because when Dean was born, we were in quarantine. So the restaurants
Mm.
shut down. So Crystal and I, for the first time, are home and collecting unemployment. So,
Wow.
and we have a newborn. So we had a very unique situation. And we're like, okay, we need to take full advantage of this. This is very unique. Not everyone gets this. And we chose to shut out all negativity, all negative energy, all news, and it was it caused a lot of divide. It caused a lot of divide amongst our family
Mm-hmm.
because we saw things differently. But
Yeah.
that's because our circumstance was way different, and we chose to, we were doing things, and we're grateful to live in Las Vegas. We weren't in California where it was, a little
Mm.
more,
Mm-hmm.
restrictive. So we didn't have as many, restrictions. So we went to the park every day. And like
Mm.
because it was springtime of 20 or now 2020, we were going to a different park every single day, like doing fun things and like making memories and, going to the pool and like, yeah, like really fun, awesome
Mm.
stuff. And yeah, like, and that solidified what I want to, where I want to
Mm.
go. It's like, hey,
Gave you a
these
little
moments.
taste.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yes, yes. It was a taste of freedom and it was
Mm.
motivation. I was like, okay, I need to do whatever I can, to grow these investments. I got to grow this money. And that was why I chose to invest that unemployment money. Like we were getting, to be honest, like we were getting paid more than we were making.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was the case for a lot of people. And like, you have a choice. You can go out to fancy dinners, you could buy nice things, and that's fine if you want. But like, I chose to invest it. I chose to
Mm-hmm.
delay the gratification. And, if I just implement a system, put this money over here and almost grow to a point where I forget about it, I'm going to come back to it and I'll be glad I did that. And once you just get started, once the snowball gets big enough, you're like,
Oh yeah.
how big can we get this
Yeah.
snowball?
Yeah.
So COVID was super awesome for us, but yeah, it caused some divide because, um, we personally we almost didn't like see it. It wasn't, we didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wasn't, really pro mask and, I'm not very pro V, but at the end of the day, it's everyone's choice, do whatever the heck you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's your body,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so, yeah, gosh, that was great. We returned back to work. Fleming's reopened as soon as it could. So Vegas, yeah, not as restrictive. So we reopened pretty quickly. I mean, yeah, I was only
Mm-hmm.
off for 6-7 weeks maybe. And we reopened and it was great because now I'm making money. Like because and
Mm-hmm.
everyone Vegas was open for business. So everyone's coming, and yeah, we had limited capacity, but like I was making good money. And now that I had implemented some systems, I was like, okay, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I can put $50, $100 over here, and it just grows. And um, so many people, yeah, are just afraid to get started.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the hardest part. It's like, when are you gonna get started? You don't have to prepare. I'm guilty. I'm speaking to myself. Sometimes in the morning, I'm like, oh, I can't start my day unless I have a workout or drink my coffee
Yeah.
or do meditation, whatever, But like,
So, what
uh,
would you say to somebody who is looking to get started in investing? What are some of the first things they should do?
get educated, figure, and I don't even want to talk crypto. It's just one asset class. It's just
Mm-hmm.
one component of the financial ecosystem. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I do with clients is I evaluate what you want, what the
Mm-hmm.
client wants, what's the end goal, and then we reverse engineer a strategy to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So for the individual, I'd say evaluate your life, figure out what it is you want, because everyone wants something different, and maybe you just want to replace your income. Maybe you need $3,000 a month to pay your bills,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you just want that so that you can work two less shifts a week or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or what. Yeah, so it really depends on what you want. So figure that out first and then get
Mm-hmm.
educated. How can I get there? And right now we have an incredible opportunity with this new asset class, this new technology, blockchain and cryptocurrencies. We can trade it. We don't have to go through a Morgan Stanley or a
Mm-hmm.
traditional brokerage anymore. We can now have the control and we can be our own bank. And for me, that's what I'm passionate about, is taking control of your finances. And how can I educate people to do the same thing?
Yeah. So what do you say? What do you have to say to the people out there who are afraid of cryptocurrency, who are skeptical and think it's not real money and it won't last?
Yeah, I'm skeptical of life. I'm skeptical of my job. I'm skeptical of getting in my car and driving across town today, because there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of, a lot of things that could
Mm,
happen. But for me, yeah, crypto has changed my life. It's turned it around 180%. But there's a lot of misinformation out there. You can't just throw 50 bucks at a Shiba or a dog coin and expect to be a millionaire overnight. I
mhm.
don't think anybody has gotten rich overnight. I don't think anybody has built anything overnight. Um, Rome was not built in a single day. It was laid brick by brick. So
You do have a lot of nuggets, huh?
I do, I do. Yes. And gosh, yeah, and I left that part out of my journey, but after the restaurant business, I kind of wanted to do, something for myself and be a little more
Uh-huh.
creative and continue to network. And I actually got involved in a multi-level marketing business model, and a great environment for personal growth and development. And
Mm,
that's where I attribute a lot of my growth and leadership to just that network, because I was exposed
mhm.
to like a book list that has changed my life,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and just different attitudes, because success principles are universal. Like you're going to hear the same stuff out of my mouth as you're
Mhm.
going to hear out of Tony Robbins and out of Gary Vee and like all those different guys, because that's all I'm doing. I'm just
Mhm.
paraphrasing. I'm taking it all in, taking the best and leaving the rest. So, so yeah, figure out what you want, but you got to get educated,
Yeah.
just like anything. If I want to
Where are
be a
some of
car,
the Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, if you want to, build a table for your
Yeah.
dining room, like you
Right. You
gotta
need to
gotta get educated. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what do I need?
Yeah.
What tools do I need? So don't be scared. Don't be skeptical, because yeah, I'm more skeptical of getting in my car than I am of investing in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Strictly because of the institutions. I mean, JP Morgan, we all trust them, right? They're credible. They have a JP Morgan coin,
Mhm.
and that's how they operate. It's just, think of it as we're updating the infrastructure of the financial system, because the Swift system is how money is moved across the world, and that was implemented like back in the 70s. So we're just updating it and digitizing that. And to do that, we're going to use blockchain technology. So
Mm.
so for that, yeah, it's the first new asset class since the 1600s. A couple 10 years ago, you can only invest in stocks, bonds, and
Yeah.
gold, and precious metals. So why not? The upside outweighs the downside. So never invest more than you're willing to lose. And for
Right.
that, yeah, that would be a good place to start. Throw $100 at something. We're not afraid to lose $100, but hey, if it turns into 1,000, hey, good thing you did that.
Yeah. Okay, so getting educated. There's so much out there, and I think that can be a little bit intimidating, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself too, especially with cryptocurrency, which is this whole foreign thing and blockchain and tech, like,
Mm.
it's hard to understand. And I think even though I understand the concept of it, now it's like I don't even know where to go to get educated on, well, what should I buy and what's the strategy, that how should I approach this? I don't know what to do.
And that's great. And I want to get everyone to that level, because yeah, so many people are just afraid to get started. But those people
Mhm.
that do dip their toes in now, yeah, they want to strategize, and it starts to become fun, for some people. But
Mhm.
to get educated, I mean, YouTube has helped me immensely. It's free. Gosh, you can type in whatever you want, but be a critical consumer of that information. You got to research.
Mhm.
I'm not going to watch a video of a guy that doesn't have, a very great track record or very great
Right.
following necessarily. And those are some of the services that Jetson Legacy is providing, is, consulting services and education. There's a lot of helpful resources just on our website alone, to, of YouTubers that have helped me personally along
Mhm.
my journey. So if I can cut out some of the extra, wasted time
Yes,
or that
please.
research, yeah, for new investors, that's what I want to do. We just launched a company called Chains Explained. And what we want to do is educate and dumb it
Uh-huh.
down. We want to make it easy to understand for everybody, because for us, an investor is someone that's 16, and someone that's 80. Everyone can invest, and
Mhm.
even these young kids, they're going to know more than we know, because they're going to grow up with it. So I have clients of all ages and backgrounds and stuff. And that's the cool part, is the barrier to entry is low. It's a global economy. It's a global market. It's open 24/7 and everyone can get involved. And just like the internet boom, yes, there was a lot of skepticism, a lot of fake news and, pump and dumps per se. But at the end of the day, it's how we do everything now. And it's just the infrastructure of how we do things. So this is just one more step in the evolution of things. But, check out our website, check
Yeah,
out
what
Chains
is it?
Explained.
What's your website?
Yeah, it's Jetson Legacy LLC.com.
Okay. And Chains
And
Explained.
yep, and there's a resources tab on there that's got the link to the Chains Explained YouTube, because yeah, it's a brand new. We need some time to let the algorithm work and stuff. So yeah,
Well, we
click
can
on
help the algorithm.
that. Absolutely, yeah. Please subscribe to the channel, and we've got a team. It's not just me. We've got a team of I guess like-minded individuals and different entrepreneurs and artists that are trying to get everyone educated on the different aspects. So we're doing all things finance. So financial literacy, investing, blockchain, crypto, and NFTs, is a big hype right now.
I was going to ask you about that. What's your take on NFTs?
Yeah. So, it's just another tool. It's just another vehicle to get to what you want. Just like buying, you could buy rare whiskey and flip it. It's just another vehicle to make money. You buy something low and you intend to sell it at a higher price. And it's cool. I love the fact that it's empowering artists, and it is giving creative control and all more of the money back to these artists. And the technology behind the NFT is fascinating because it's being introduced to the marketplace as art, but the underlying tech is it's an agreement. It's a smart contract. So it's saying that we all agree that this has value, and it is this specific one. It has a digital signature, and we're going to tokenize all assets eventually. But this is rolling into the real estate market, so we can have a house as an NFT, and you can eliminate the intermediary. I don't need a realtor or a Zillow. I can sell it P2P, peer to peer, just like Turo. I don't have to go to Enterprise. I can now rent a car. So what I'm doing is I'm purchasing the digital ownership to the property, and I could do it in seconds on the blockchain very efficiently. You're freeing up liquidity that would go to fees and closing costs and all that. So it's empowering the people doing the transactions, eliminating that intermediary. And for that, yeah, it's pretty cool because. So yes, long answer short, the NFT tech is awesome. It's just being introduced to the market as JPEGs or different pictures. But there's something to be said about the different collections and stuff. I have bought 4 NFTs in my career, and I have sold them all at a profit. Nice. So yeah, it's been good. There you go. So there you go. Yes, don't be afraid.
It's
but yes, there's a lot of there's a lot of nonsense out there too. And spoiler alert, we're also dropping our own NFT collection.
When's that coming out?
Well, we'll have to see. We'll do. Yeah, we've got
no pressure.
Yeah. I'll let you know, but I'll let you know that they are called the accoutrements. And like accoutrement, but since we're minting them on the blockchain, they are the accoutrements. Yes, and I give credit to Crystal. It's her idea, and I'm just so fun. Put it into life. It is fun.
I love that you guys work together. That makes it so much fun.
Definitely. That's always kind of been my vision, is to like be a power couple, and gosh, we have so many things that we want to do, but crypto has been the investment vehicle to make those dreams become a reality, because once you get started, then you can grow the money. And yeah, before I forget, everyone should read the book Richest Man in Babylon.
Richest Man in Babylon. Okay.
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's just a conceptual book about how money works and how we should grow it instead of spending it. So we essentially create money instead of consume. And it's just, gosh, such a big mindset shift. And it's not long. And gosh, for those lazy people, you can even download the app 12 Min, which summarizes books. And you can, yeah, knock out a book in 10 to 12 minutes. And
Wow.
so no excuse, guys. We have all these resources, apps, tools, and we're just taught to kill our
Oh my
time. So
gosh. Can I ask what was your first investment into crypto?
yeah, I started with $1,000,
Okay, there you go.
and
$1,000.
I bought my crypto. I bought two cryptos. I bought $700 of Bitcoin
Uh-huh.
and $300 of QNT, which I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And I believe with Bitcoin, I doubled my money, and
Mhm.
I sold. And gosh, it's something you got to take your profits when they're there, because it's so volatile, and
Mhm.
you could be down the next day. So I'm glad I did that, and that's when it got exciting, because
Right.
then I was like, oh, I have more money to
Saw the
work with.
possibilities. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you have more money to work with, so yeah.
So yeah, one thing leads to another,
Yeah.
and yeah. So it's just a vehicle. That's all it is. Don't get
Mhm.
hung up on the technology and this
Mm.
and that. It's just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B. And I want to help, educate the community and drive the mass adoption of cryptocurrency. I've got a saying, I believe that education should be the centerpiece of human evolution.
Mhm.
So with anything, whether it's investing, but now we have no excuse. And with the state of the world, the economy too, everyone should be thinking, hey, what's my backup? Hey, what if
Right.
I do get laid off? What if milk goes to $6 a gallon? Like,
It's pretty close.
yeah. Totally. So
Uh,
I don't need to light a fire under anybody. I think what's going on, and should be fuel enough. And at the end of the day,
Mhm.
it's your life. You're going to do what you want. And for me, I have my idea of freedom, and everyone needs to define
Yeah.
freedom for themselves.
What do you wish or if you could talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him now?
Stop buying clothes. Stop buying clothes with a stupid horse on it, because yeah, just because the cool kid has a
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, but that's the society we live in.
Mhm.
America, it's a very consumer based society, and it's very brand name, and like,
Mhm.
I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted to
Yeah.
feel cool and like part of the community. And that there's nothing wrong with that. But now, so that's what I would say. Uh, think a little more big picture.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, I would freaking read Richest Man in Babylon at 18.
Yeah, like, read this book.
Yes, yes. I wasn't a very good reader, and that's why I appreciate, knowledge and books
Uh-huh.
now. I have to tell my toddlers that books are family. So
Yes.
so that
Oh,
we take care of them and respect them, because I got some cool books that have been passed down, from my sister
yeah.
who's got kids,
Yeah.
and they came from my mom, and I'm like, dang, like these are cool. And it's easy to get a Kindle and stuff, but it's not the same as having that
Yeah.
book in your hand.
Totally. It's different. It's a different
Yeah.
experience. What's the best piece of advice you've been given to date?
I will accredit one influencer. His name is Coach JV. He runs
Mhm.
the Warrior Academy, and I'm actually going to his conference in Phoenix in 2 weeks.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
See you
I've
soon.
been yeah, I've been following him for a couple of years now and watched his journey, and he's helped me with a lot of mindset. But one concept is freeing your mind
Mm.
and opening it to the possibilities, and not being so narrow minded, having like that tunnel vision, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I grew up with so much structure, I felt like I have to do things. It's like it has to be a certain way.
Mhm.
And the whole job mentality, it just conditions us that way. It's, hey, I have to be at work at 9 a.m. and I have to, yeah, respond to this email within 24
Mhm.
hours. And it's I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, he just allowed me to free your mind. And to do that, you got to go on your own journey. For
Mhm.
me, it's been getting up early. It's been getting up before the kids wake up, and getting a little workout in, or doing some breathing or some meditation, and getting a game plan. So
Mhm.
and running my life like a business. So
Mm.
so I'm shifting that structure away from the real world or the matrix for some, and shifting it into your own life. And for me, that has helped immensely because now I do things because I want to and I get to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing them for me and my future and my family. And um, what's going to fuel your fire? It comes down to your passion. And I think I think, yeah, what a lot of people can take away, because not everyone is going to get to where we're at, and overnight, to where we have the freedom and the creative, creative control
Mm-hmm.
to do what we love. But what you do from 9 to 5 pays your bills, and what you do from 6 to midnight creates your dream. And if you just take that concept, you'll be like, okay, you know what? Instead of being tired and going home and going straight to the bar or kicking back on the couch, watching Netflix, having a beer or whatever, maybe, yeah, maybe I invest in myself. Maybe I choose to do what I'm passionate about, play some guitar, or,
Mm-hmm.
let's dance, listen, do what brings you bliss. And
Mm-hmm.
because if you can turn that into a career, then I think then we'll really live a life full of fulfillment and joy, and people feed off that. They will feel that energy and they will be attracted to you because you
Mm-hmm.
attract what you are. And if you can get to that highest level of vibrational frequency, it's amazing. And so that's, yeah, Coach AV is the man in regards to freeing your mind and operating via frequency. There's also, you might know Clark Kegley on YouTube, but he dives into like chakras and just
Mm-hmm.
vibrations. And gosh, some of the music we listen to, like listening to
Mm-hmm.
rap music, just puts you in the state of low vibration. And like it's okay to get to that state sometime, if you need to get to that state, for a workout or whatever. But like it really is amazing. Like it's almost like food, I almost feel like if
Mm-hmm.
I eat some greasy cheeseburgers, I almost feel like it's like spewing out of me almost, like I
Mm-hmm.
almost smell like cheeseburgers. But but if you put in good stuff, you're gonna get out good stuff. And it starts with the mind up here. You can literally read a sentence and now it's up here. And then you read it out, say it out loud. And then you might, hey, I need to align my behaviors with my
Mm-hmm.
words. And by doing that, you then create this field that affects other people. And I was thinking about this morning. By someone choosing to do drugs, you open the door for someone else to do drugs. You make it
Mm-hmm.
okay. You make it
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like, hey man, yeah, like, we're doing drugs. It's like, man, you're affecting that person so negatively. And you could easily just say, hey man, I don't think we should do drugs. Or, yo, man, these drugs are bad for our health.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little drastic change like that could change that other person's life forever. And that person can go affect other
Yep.
people.
Change other people. Yeah.
So I'm a big believer now in the frequencies that we're giving off, and our
Mm-hmm.
network and attraction,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. You're gonna get out what you put in. You're not gonna put crappy gas in your car. Like, oh, I need
Mm-hmm.
gas. I'm gonna put like a little bit of the, a little bit of vodka, a little bit of, crappy cheap gas. Like, no, like you're gonna put the right stuff, what it needs. And what we need is more education. Um, so yeah, gosh, just follow. I think someone said, start to hashtag things that you want. If you want wealth, if you want
Mm-hmm.
abundance, put that into search it, put that into YouTube, put that into,
Mm-hmm.
because then the algorithm works to your advantage. Now your feed
Right.
is getting filled with
It's getting
stuff,
filled with that stuff. Yeah.
and you don't know what you don't know. So much of the stuff, I go on YouTube, and yeah, I am quick to go to my subscriptions page, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes on my home feed there might be something I'm like, dang, you know what, or like a concept that I
Mm-hmm.
might want to learn more about, and I'm just a nerd for knowledge because,
Yeah.
gosh, the brain is a supercomputer. There's no max amount that I can take in. I only,
Mm-hmm.
so that to me is pretty fascinating. And gosh, yeah. So I'm super passionate about educating people on all this stuff, really mindset, and then investing. And money is just a bridge for me. I want cool things. I want time. I want my own basketball court to just go shoot hoops.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. but
What
to
does
do that, yeah, it's gonna take some hard work.
what does the word passion mean to you?
I think passion is connected to the soul. I think, yeah, somebody said, do what brings you bliss. And that resonated with me. And I'm like, okay, what is bliss? I got to define that. And yeah, what gets me to that state? And I think we're so busy growing up, we forget. We put our dreams on the back burner. We minimize our dreams. We forget what makes us happy, and we need to revert to our childhood because as a child, you're pure love, and I think, yeah, we forget that feeling. And for me, yeah, there's certain moments on the baseball field, certain situations that, if I can think about, I'm just like, oh yeah, like I love doing that. The feeling when the ball connects with the bat, or I dive and, snag a ground ball and get up and fire to first and he's out, to end the inning. Like, and the crowd's cheering. Like, oh man, it's a powerful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Music. I think music is underrated. I think people are listening to the wrong types of
Mm-hmm.
music.
Mm-hmm.
Music, you should move, it should, like, we're just energy, like, and the sound is just vibration. So like the music should impact you and make you feel a certain way. And for me, like, some genres would be, I love steel drums. I
Mm-hmm.
love I love horns, like classical music, like trumpets and orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
Um, More like, yeah, upbeat, high stuff. I listen to a ton of, high frequency vibrations. I listen to solfeggio frequencies,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I'm learning much more about grounding and
Mm-hmm.
releasing all
Mm-hmm.
of this, because, man, just evaluate your own day, and you're like, man, did I touch ground at all? No, I put my socks on.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the carpet, put my socks on, put my shoes on, got in my car, went to my office, and it's amazing. So, get out to the park, get out to your front yard, and just put your bare feet in the grass, on the ground,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy because you need that release. And
Mm-hmm.
that's another point that I want to just say real quick. I don't know if I'm taking
Say
up
it.
to,
Nah, do
okay.
it.
We're getting all this exposure to these different, radiations and frequencies like EMF and stuff. So that's something that
Mm-hmm.
I've learned about because I've taken up, day trading, and I'm on the screens much more. I'm plugged in much more. We use a lot more Bluetooth, all that stuff. I have a
Mm-hmm.
stronger internet, so I could do all this crap. So I have invested in, little things that have helped minimize that frequency that I'm getting,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a household with small children as well. So I want to protect them as much as possible. So like there's little things, you can get adapters for your headphones, like little just
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
little things that
Yeah.
you can plug in. And I have a thing on my phone. It's a little sticker on the back.
Oh, cool.
It's just a little dot, and I got one, yeah, on my monitors. So I mean, it could be some hookah buka stuff, but
But it makes you feel good.
it makes me feel good. It's bringing me bliss right now.
Exactly. That's what matters. Eric, this has been so much fun. You are so full of life and energy and passion and so much wisdom and knowledge. And I appreciate you so much for being here. Can you tell the audience where we can find you? I know you mentioned it earlier, but just say it again, your website, where we can find you on social media. If there's anything coming up that you want to share, tell us everything.
Yeah, absolutely. The best one-stop shop is Jetson Legacy LLC.com. There's links to our Facebook, Instagram. I'm pretty active on the Instagram. I post a lot of stories, just with, yeah, up-to-date news and, little things like strategy and, yeah, different coins I'm looking at. So that's a great place to get started for up-to-date education and research. But yeah, start JetsonLegacyLLC.com. And yeah, we've got a lot of fun things going on. We've got our Chains Explained YouTube education channel, which encompasses, yeah, all things investing, finance, mindset. And I'm most excited about, yeah, our NFT collection. And we're going to have a podcast getting dropped here as well, where we'll be talking about wealth and wellness, because it all starts up here. We believe in
Mm-hmm.
mind, body, and spirit. It's all got to be balanced and unified. So yeah, and thank you, Yael. I mean, gosh, I'm so grateful for our connection. And, I wouldn't, the way I think of it is I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now if I hadn't have done certain things. So
It's
I,
true.
yeah, I had to move to California. I had to start working for
Mm-hmm.
that restaurant group. I had to do all these things. So never doubt your journey, because
Mm-hmm.
everything does happen for a reason. People come into your life for a reason or a
Mm-hmm.
season, but it's up to you to do something with it. You can take someone's business card, but I mean, what is it if you never shoot
Yeah,
that person an email?
totally. Totally.
So I'm grateful to you for even giving me this opportunity, to just share on your platform. And, I'm really looking forward to educating people.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of Path to Passion. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like, review, subscribe, and share, and follow us wherever you listen to your podcast.
It's time to activate and elevate. Your journey continues.